Hey there, future me. It's currently a Tuesday morning. It was like Monday evening, like less than 10 minutes ago. But hey, here we are. It's been a solid I think it's been a little bit over 3 weeks actually since I recorded the audio for the last video. So a lot of stuff is I guess 3 weeks went by really fast. I was actually I don't know. I'm currently in my office waiting for some code to run. I wasn't forced to be here. I promise. It's more so that I could have done it earlier and I just didn't. And I was kind of like, Prof probably wants me to get some graphs, but I haven't, made the graphs yet, so I guess I have to go make the graphs. So I made the spontaneous, like the executive decision, to make my way over to campus and I guess like start some runs on the work computer, which is about as fast as like my like laptop, but it means that I can do other things on my laptop while like the work computer kind of like hammers away at like I don't know multiplying matrices and stuff or like root solving. But where was I trying to go with this? So like I was like doing a bit of a doom scroll on Twitter as usual, and I saw like one of those like nostalgia pages that I follow with like a meme, and I saw like the you know image macro of like overly attached girlfriend. I was like, hey, I remember her. Like she had a YouTube channel. Let's see how she's doing. So I looked her up, and she actually uploaded like 8 days ago, which was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And like she hadn't like her last upload before then was like 2 years ago, right? So it was just kind of like an update, and she was just kind of talking about like, taking things like one at a time and just kind of going day by day. Might return to YouTube, might not, all that stuff. And I was kind of like, I guess like I did bring my headset with me to the office because I was planning on, forcing myself to kind of be here until the code finishes slash like until I sit down to record the audio for the next video. But yeah, I guess well after seeing this video, I feel kind of not like moved, but just kind of compelled, inspired. Maybe that's the best word. Inspired to kind of like, well, try to do this. So here we are, I guess. Um, 3 weeks went by pretty fast. I guess I said that previously. And in what sense? So a lot of friends came back in town, so I don't really feel as isolated anymore. We've kind of been hopping around, doing a lot of things. Board game night is back in swing. There are like a few more members here and there. Like I think I have the title for like this video in my head about like I had it like in my head for like a while. Ideally, if I recorded this like I guess the week after I recorded last audio, it would have been the same as it is now, which is just moving and makeshifting. Like, cause like the first week was just kind of like what on Monday I got to, or I didn't get to. I was told to move offices, um, and on like Tuesday I helped one of my friends move into like his new apartment, and then like on Saturday I helped like Step move like to his new place as well. So it was a lot of moving. I guess like what was kind of funny is that only like me, my office mate, and like one other guy like lost our offices. Like I like to think it was like a turf war or something. The math department pretty much came over and was like, "Yo, we kind of want to hire new people." And like the department chair like of our department was just kind of like, it appears that we have more offices than you guys. Guess we're gonna have to give some up. And so yeah, we lost the turf war, and we got to move into an office. I got to dig up some like really old stuff. Like there were like these like projector slides that were like dated like 1982 or something, which is like twice my age. And it's like, oh, okay, dude, all right. Um, so yeah, that was a bit of an experience, and I guess like that was probably like the most eventful week out of the three. The second week was more lax, nothing too crazy happened. Went to Sam's Club like what between like the second and third week with Step because like well I guess as usual like the only way I'm getting to Sam's is if I like cop a ride off of him because we share the membership and all that. And what I bought some of these like foam floor mats, right? Those like little jigsaw guys that like you can I guess that are comfy to sit on, and you don't have to worry about like I guess like because my place has wood floor, but it's pretty old wood floor, and there's probably like not like nail like heads of nails sticking out. So I'm kind of worried that if I walk on there barefoot, I might like I don't know hurt myself somehow. So it's kind of nice to have like the foam floor mats to put over it. Also, I guess means that I now have more of a what living room esque space. It's just like having a it's like a discount rug, like a really cheap rug. And I also got to buy a second bath towel thanks to Steph basically, looking at me and saying, "Green, it's $6, dude. You're buying it." I was like, "Okay, fine, man." So yeah, now we're truly living like the 1%. And then I guess the third week was just kind of it, it's it was a bit of a lull. I guess technically it's like the fourth week now because it's like Tuesday and all. But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of been okay, I guess. Like, whereas maybe like the past two videos was kind of like me malding about like how things are seemingly on a downturn. It seems like you can't go down forever, right? So surely you have to go back up at some point. I hope that means that I keep going back up for a while until Quals finishes, and hopefully don't have any downturns right before Quals. That would kind of suck. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just been like in regards to makeshifting, just kind of learning to make do or just winning small battles, right? Like maybe like the way I phrase that makes it sound really I don't know. It sounds really weird, right? Like the people who like say stuff like, "Oh yeah, I did the dishes today." I'm truly like, getting stuff done. And like it's sad that it's come to this, but it's kind of like that. Like it's kind of been like that, right? Like there are small battles and stuff to fight. Maybe I just don't like the connotation of it, right? But yeah, I don't know. Feels like there are a lot of things that you just kind of have to push yourself to do, and then once like you're in the motion, it's like all easy, right? I mean, even though the dishes build up, once you like wash one dish, you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, there's like soap on the sponge, and like, there's like these other dishes right over here. Might as well just reach over, pick another one up, and just keep scrubbing, right? Similarly, like, I guess because I have this office space to work in compared to at home, even though technically I could probably do a lot of things just from my laptop at home. Once I set myself into motion, walk over to the office, I'll probably like be, I don't know, more like in gear to do things, but it's all really, really scrappy. It's makeshift again, right? Like I had like this like whole monologue and or not like maybe not a whole monologue, but at least like a few like good things to kind of like point at or things that I think would be like illustrative comparisons, but um kind of forgetting them. So I guess it's a good time to once again, I get it's a good time to make shift. Wow, look at me, I'm so meta, so cool and quirky, truly. Um, what is it? It's just like one of those things where sometimes if you think too far ahead, it's not good for you. And as to what constitutes too far ahead is relative, right? I think there are times to where it's like, oh, well, there's only like 15 minutes between like now and like, oh, some sort of external activity, so I might as well just like not, try to start anything serious. And by anything serious, I mean like, do like some minor chores or just like prepare something or anything for that matter, right? And so like instead of, I guess, using those 15 minutes are burned on something that's like quote unquote like not serious, which could be like anything that's not really, I guess, like engaging of sorts. So it could be research, it could be like chores, it could be video games, right? Like, and it just kind of seems like that's kind of maybe that's like a constant issue, right? I remember like when I was really young, like my dad would have these like my dad, I guess, to try to encourage me to have good behavior, would create like a little score sheet and stuff. And so based on my like behavior every day, like he would kind of like in certain categories, like, for example, if I had like a good attitude, I'd get like full marks on that. And so he'd try to, make a bunch of these sections on things that I could work on. I guess it was like whether what is it, like, just different things, like whether I was a picky eater, whether I was like being particularly stubborn. And I remember one of them, like these categories that like, well, I probably remember it not because like of my memory just being that sharp, but rather because he remembered it and he would constantly kind of like hang it over my head as like, haha, look, this is something that you have to work on. And it hasn't really changed much. Is this idea of like the quick switch, right? He's like, green, green, son, you gotta get better at this like quick switch stuff, right? And it was just kind of like being able to go from one thing to another thing, right? And just kind of saying like, okay, well, I said that at this time I was going to do this thing, and so because I said that, I'm going to commit to it, even though it's like, I guess like an internal deadline that I set purely for myself, right? And I guess that's something that I right now I'm still not very capable of doing. I suppose past recordings you'll hear me say stuff like, "Oh, well, I can't let myself down," and like, well, Past Green was a bum. He's an idiot. What is this guy? What's this guy talking about?" But and I guess that's like still one of those things, right? Um, but I guess like maybe that was more on like the short sightedness part, right? Like the short sightedness to where I don't like look too far ahead. So then why did I want to talk about like looking too far ahead? Maybe like the looking too far ahead stuff plays into, I guess, just like the vision, right? Like you become overwhelmed, or what you me, right? I become overwhelmed like whenever I guess look at all this stuff that's up ahead, right? With like quals and all that. Like I'm apparently expected to write like a 20-page paper, which sounds a little bit intimidating. Double spaced makes it seem slightly nicer. Figures make it seem a lot nicer because that means, I can just be like, hey, check it out. Here's like 4 plots that take up like one entire page. Nice. 5% of the work is done. But it's still like, it still seems really intimidating given that I, well, haven't produced, I suppose, results that are worth to, like, I haven't produced results to where prof thinks I should start focusing on the write-up yet, and I'm supposed to have this in by, like, October or November, right? And that's not too far away, right? The channel is, the creation date of this channel in March, 5 months, right? It was like longer than the time span that will be between me and like when I'm supposed to take quals, in addition to like that oral exam. So all that stuff is like really scary, right? And like there's all these things that like, whenever I have meetings with prof, I ask him questions and stuff on like future questions that we might address. And it seems that maybe at times like I'm looking a little bit too far ahead because it feels like he usually spends a lot more time trying to kind of like draw me back to like, great, look, man, we're just trying to get these results right now. Don't ask too many questions. Just focus on, running the code, which is frankly as easy as just like, well, okay, like running the code is pretty easy because you're just kind of, you put in the parameters and you hit the run button and you wait, right? The hard part, I suppose, would be interpreting the code, but that's, I guess, where prof is supposed to step in. But he can't interpret the code if I don't give him the output of code. And I can't give him the output of code if I spend too much time either being a bum or just like, speculating about like, what's the point of like running this code, when like in the future we're gonna have to like modify this anyways. And it's like, dude, don't worry about it. Like just do, just work with what you have. Just run the code, man. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things. It kind of feels like a lot of this like stuff is that's all like really far away is getting to me somehow. And maybe this is somewhat related, I guess, to kind of what previously on the last video I was probably rambling about, like as to how it feels like stuff like on the internet seems to mess with me a lot despite it like being really far away. So I guess like this is similar, but instead of it being like spatially far away, it's like temporally far away. Like things in the future that like of course I should still work towards, but I shouldn't like think too hard about it or also just be kind of like once again like in some state of like decision paralysis. And oftentimes like too much time spent thinking about I can do this, I can do that, like there's all these different things that I can choose, I don't know how to sequence them. It's like, okay, well, what if you just took a step back and you want to play keyboard, bam, go play keyboard. You want to go do dishes, bam, go do dishes. But like yeah, it's just a matter of making do, I guess. Maybe the reason why I wanted to call it like moving and makeshifting is because like whenever we were moving and stuff, like uh you know of course like it's not good to just like throw everything into like the U-Haul without like thinking about it, but at the same time you shouldn't like spend too much time thinking about how you're going to Jenga things into the U-Haul whenever you're like moving like within like a 10-minute drive away from your previous location, which is was the case for like me helping both of my friends move. And so in that case it's just kind of like, all right, we're just gonna try to get things in there, right? And I was trying to come up with this whole like we're gonna create this like assembly line system and it's gonna be great. And it's like, bro, take a step back. You're overcomplicating things. We just gotta get the things into the truck. Just get the things into the truck and we'll be fine. So I guess like to go to how things are going now, right? It's kind of, oh man, I gotta get ready for quals. I gotta study. I gotta upgrade all the code. I got to produce all these results. And it's like, yeah, well, it's okay. You have this like source. You can ask Prof what's going on, and you can go figure these things out. And if you feel like there are a lot of like chores and stuff that you want to get done, you want to, clean all these things and like sort everything out and like add all these new things and figure out how you're gonna, I guess, take care of all the things. We'll just do one at a time. And one day, whenever you feel like it, we'll vacuum the floor. The other day, we'll, I guess, use the funny sponge mop squish thingy on the floor for the first time, or like the tile floor area of the bathroom. That was actually pretty neat. Just kind of spooky, I guess, as to how all the grime built up. But hey, we're being slightly more sanitary now, which is cool. Next thing you know, I'll actually be cooking on a daily basis instead of just like I don't know, eating sandwiches. But I don't know. It's we're on an upswing. Things are looking up, but of course, it doesn't just happen. Like it's something that I have to keep trying to make work, right? Not really going to pat myself on the back for it. It's just more kind of I'm just kind of I'm doing it, right? This is how things should be. I hope things stay this way. I don't really want to go back to where I was like a few weeks ago when progress was slower. Of course, like things could be better, and like my output could be better. I know my output can be better. It's just a matter of doing it, right? And sometimes I spend too much time like thinking about it, and I could probably just like just do things, just say, all right, well, I'm gonna go do this. Great, I'm gonna go do this. There's not really what is it? I guess like it's just having a bit more discipline and well, it's like a mixture of discipline and also just like focus, I guess, on the current matter at hand to just kind of get the job done with whatever is given, right? And not really think too hard about like what's up ahead because then I'll just like spend too much time on it somehow. I hope like well the next time I record it's a little bit sooner than like this gap. I don't really like whenever I have these like 3 week gaps because I reckon that it makes the data more sparse, right? If the whole point of the channel is to try to do all this like what like documentation thing and to try to see how the thing changes over time, like the longer the gap, like the more wacky stuff that could have happened in between. If anything, I guess like the first week out of the three was probably like, ooh, things are going back up, and the second week are kind of like, things are kind of slowing down, and the third week was things are still pretty slow, and then they're speeding back up at the end, and now we're here, which is hopefully we'll keep going on the upward path. But yeah. Oh yeah. Also, 10 subscribers. Wow, very cool. Thank you to everyone who subscribed. I think I know all of you because I either told you that I was gonna make the YouTube channel at some point, or I told you once the YouTube channel was a thing, and you poked your head in and it was just kind of like, all right, cool. I subbed. This seems pretty great. Yeah. Thanks for the support. I know that like I don't really expect you guys to watch these videos or anything because, like, once again, it's just kind of for future me. But I I appreciate it a lot. For anyone who's sticking around, thanks a ton. Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's all I got for now. Well, hopefully see you sooner than last time. Till then.